Hey friends, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you know how much I love living in Williamson County, just south of Nashville. And I honestly can't say enough about how special Franklin, Tennessee is. Whether you're planning a girls' trip, a family reunion, or just need a weekend to slow down and reconnect, Franklin has something for everyone. Taking a walk down historic Main Street is like stepping into a postcard with one-of-a-kind local boutiques, art galleries, and some of the best coffee and live music spots around. If you're into history, you will love touring the Civil War sites and afterwards relax with a visit to a local winery or distillery. There's a feeling in Franklin that is hard to describe. It's warm, welcoming, and the kind of place where you can breathe a little deeper and have meaningful moments with the people you love. Start planning your visit at visitfranklin.com. You can download or order a free vacation guide right there. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited to be joined by someone many of us grew up watching, the talented Danica McKellar, who stole our hearts as Winnie Cooper on the beloved late 80s, early 90s series, The Wonder Years. Danica's journey is really interesting. In addition to more than 50 guest starring roles in television, from The West Wing to How I Met Your Mother, she has starred in and produced dozens of movies, including several of my favorite Christmas movies. And her life beyond Hollywood includes authoring numerous math books. But my favorite part of Danica's story is her faith journey. Danica shares her very personal story of encountering Jesus in a truly life-changing way just over 3 years ago, and now she's a passionate voice in faith-forward entertainment. I hope you're able to grab a cup of coffee or put on the headphones and maybe go for a walk as you listen to my conversation with Danica McKellar. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was really fun to get to meet you recently on a red carpet at the King of Kings movie premiere. We were talking about how just grateful we are that there are faith-based films for families to actually get to take their kids and the whole family enjoy.
For sure. Yes, I'm excited for people getting to see the just the quality,
Yeah, I
the
think that's
quality
what's so
and the
impressive.
family-friendly aspect to it.
For sure. So you have not been in Nashville too long, but I was curious to know, have you been surprised at how many events we have? I think you've done 2 red carpet type events this past month.
Right. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, no, we moved to Tennessee 3 years ago. We go up to Nashville all the time for these kinds of events, and they're fantastic. I mean, it's like the world premiere of King of Kings. It's not just like the Nashville premiere. It's
Yeah.
actually the world premiere is happening here. It's like I feel like Tennessee has become this center for faith-based entertainment. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And we will take that description for sure. That's
Yes.
a wonderful thing. Tell me about moving your family here and what it's been like for you guys. I know it's a different pace of life than even what you grew up with.
Yeah, but is it really? I mean, I feel like a lot of my meetings happen online. Pretty busy. I spend a lot of time in my home office like I did in Los Angeles. I mean, so I share custody of my son with my ex, who also lives in Tennessee now. And on the days that I have my son Draco, I'm not in my office. I'm homeschooling him, and we're doing all sorts of things. But the days I don't have him, I feel like a workhorse. Like I am in my office, and I'm answering emails, and I'm developing projects, and I'm doing podcasts, and I'm doing a lot of things. People say, "Oh, it's a slower pace here." Maybe on the weekends. And like you said, there's red carpet events, and I think it's not necessarily that it's a slower pace, but it feels different. There's a superficiality to Los Angeles that, gets old. Where you go to a party and you feel like everyone's looking around to see if there's somebody more important they should be talking to. And that doesn't happen here. One of the things we also love about Tennessee is the beauty, just
Mm.
nature, just seeing so much lush nature. And you drive to take your car in for service, and it's like these beautiful rolling hills. And, it's just
No, I know.
like not Los Angeles anymore. It's so much better.
Yeah, that part of it is definitely visually different for sure. So I want to go back to your childhood, and you did grow up in California. And then
Mhm.
I understand it was your first kind of exposure to performing being at your mother's dance studio when you were a little girl.
Yes, for sure. I was probably 3. I mean,
Wow.
it's very young.
Yeah.
My sister and I both used to take dance lessons, baby dance lessons. And then we moved to Los Angeles when I was 7, and we started taking acting lessons. And then I started doing commercials. My sister and I were both doing commercials. And then I got the Wonder Years when I was 12. And I did that for 6 years. And Crystal, my sister, also did a part on the Wonder Years. She played Becky Slater. And then I took a break from acting to get a degree in mathematics from UCLA. I now write math books. I've written 12 of them over the last 20 years. And they're all to help kids not be afraid of math, to understand math. I teach concepts ages like babies through high school geometry. They're all at McKellar'S.com. And I have a new book. My 12th book is coming out this November. It's called I Love You 100, A Counting Book Full of Love. And it's available for pre-order now on Amazon, anywhere you find books. I Love You 100. And it's a story of unconditional love between a mother and her child. And it also teaches kids to count to 100 throughout it. But the message is, I love you if you're happy. I love you if you're sad. I love you if you're angry. I love you, like whatever it is. My love is unconditional. And that to me is such an important message. And it just gives parents an opportunity to tell their kids. Because I remember when I was probably like 5 or 6, I remember running down the hall with scissors, and my mother was angry, and she stopped me. She grabbed the scissors and she was yelling at me about how dangerous that was. And I remember when she stopped yelling, I said, "Can I have a hug?" And the reason I remember this is because the look on her face was like, she was stunned. She's like, "Of course. Like, I still love you." And she hugged me. And that kind of stayed with me. It's like, right, because kids might not realize, like maybe we need to be told when we're kids explicitly, like, I actually love you no matter what. And so I thought, what a nice thing to put in a book. And all my books have math in them. So, got math as well. But it's just, I love the opportunity to give parents the opportunity to explicitly make sure their kids know that that is true.
Even in the midst of discipline. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
such a good point. So what I think is really interesting in that I'm a creative brain. My entire career has been in television or creative projects. So I am not mathematically minded at all. And I've always felt like most people are kind of wired one way or the other. But I love that you are the creative artist that you are, but then you also have not only a love for, but a real gifting and skill set in mathematics that you've been able to use to help other people. It is a little bit unusual, isn't it?
I guess, yes, I think so. I just have always loved a good challenge. And that's why I became a math major. It wasn't my plan to begin with. I thought I was going to go to film school in college and just continue on that way. But I just loved the way it made my brain feel. And
Wow.
I just love puzzles. So, I do all the New York Times puzzles, the Wordle and connections and all that stuff. And I love that. I just love being challenged in that way. And so I love math. And so I thought, wow, this seems like it'd be really hard to be a math major. And so I did it. And then I want
You
to help others. I want to help others. I love kids, and I want kids to be happy, and I don't want them to be afraid of their math test.
right. When you were a kid on 12 years old and on the Wonder Years, what was your schooling like? Were you homeschooled? Like, when did you find this love and realize that math actually came really easy to you?
It didn't come easy to me. I just liked the challenge of it. Math did not come easy to me. In fact, I used to cry because I was afraid of my math homework, until we got a teacher who made it a lot more easy to understand in the 7th grade. I remember it just, I love having something really challenging that I could then overcome.
Hmm.
I love that feeling. And so that's what and that's the benefit of math. If math comes too easily, then you're not going to get the benefit out of it that you could. Math gives us an opportunity to tackle something challenging and to prove to ourselves by sticking with it and finally getting it, to prove to ourselves that we're stronger and smarter than we thought we were. And that skills, that confidence that comes from feeling smart and capable, that follows you everywhere in life. And I want to give that to kids. I want kids to, you can't actually give it to anyone else. It's that gift that you give yourself by sticking with it. Of
Yes.
course, getting help is really important in that process, because if you don't get it and you don't get help, then you might stay stuck and think you can't do it. So my books are all about helping kids and to get that confidence and to give them the tools that they need to build that confidence. It's not false confidence. It's real confidence. You figured this out. You did it. You now understand how to do these problems. And that's such a benefit that, look, kids have to be in math class anyway. So why not use the opportunity to get that confidence that comes from feeling smart? Because that problem solving skills, that applies to all sorts of stuff in life, not
For
just
sure.
math. Anytime you have like, what am I assuming right now about my circumstance, and what's really actually true, and what do I, where can I go from here? What are the logical steps? Math
Right.
helps.
When you decided to major in mathematics, I believe at UCLA, is that right? What did you think you wanted to do with that degree?
I had no idea. I had no idea. I felt called really to study math. And at the time, and I helped to prove a new theorem. At one point, I was considering becoming a mathematician, but I missed being able, it's not that it's just that I missed acting. I missed being able to share the things I was thinking about with other people because the math that I was studying was so specialized. And so it's like math is like a tree. So the trunk of the tree is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And the branches, you got fractions, you got decimals, whatever. And then at the top, where you're a math major, it's these teeny little branches. And they don't even talk to each other. Like they're completely separate universes. And almost nobody has any idea what that math is up there that's over here, even in the world of math. So there are like 50 people on this planet that would understand or care about the paper that I helped to write to prove a new theorem, and the only people that I knew personally were the two people I wrote the paper with. And it's not that the math was like so great. It's just that it was specialized. Just specialized. Anyway, I would like have lunch with my mom and try to tell her what it was. And I spent the whole time defining the vocabulary words that I was using to talk about the paper. And by the time lunch was over, like nothing had gotten communicated. I just missed sharing myself with the world. Yeah. And so I went back to acting and I started doing independent films at first. And I did a season of The West Wing, which was an awesome series. I love that show so much. I loved being on that show. It was a small part in a bunch of episodes. I loved it. And so I went back to acting, but I also, at the time, I had a math website where I answered people's math questions for free because I just missed math. I mean, I'd been a calculus tutor in the math department at UCLA, and I missed teaching math. And then it was in 2005 that randomly the New York Times science section decided to do a feature on the paper that I wrote, the new theorem that I helped to prove. And it said, in between series, meaning in between The Wonder Years and The West Wing, actress becomes superstar in math. And it was it was just a cool moment because I had a couple of literary agents reach out to my manager and say, we think she should write a book about girls in math. And I was like, that's interesting. And I had spoken in front of Congress a few years before that about the importance of women in math. I was invited there by a commission who was trying to get more money for scholarships for girls in college. And at the time, I did all the research. I read their 100-page report and I did all this research about why aren't there more girls and women in math? And it really comes down to middle school is the time when confidence drops in math. And it's all about the confidence. Because when you lose your confidence in math, even if your grades haven't dropped yet, when you hit something that's challenging, because math will always give you those opportunities where things are really challenging and you can't figure it out, you're more likely to believe, not that it's a temporary stumbling block, but it's like, oh, well, I knew it. I knew that I wasn't good at this. It becomes evidence of what you've always known deep down. So you have to get at the confidence first. You have to target middle school. And so that's why I said, I know exactly what I want to write my book about, middle school girls in math. And so this is my first book.
Yes, that's the one, Math Doesn't Suck.
Yeah, How to Survive Middle School Math Without Losing Your Mind or Breaking a Nail. So this is the first book that I wrote. It's from middle school. And then I wrote books up through high school geometry. And then I started over again with babies like Goodnight Numbers and 10 Magic Butterflies. And so then they're all at McKellarMath.com. And I've got this big slider button. So depending on your child's age, it'll tell you which book or books would be the most appropriate.
So that's super helpful. And how many, are there two that are geared toward really young ones? Or is this book that's coming out at the end of the year? Is that the first one for little ones? Oh, Goodnight Numbers. Okay.
Goodnight Numbers. And this is the one that was in Imagination Library for 6 years, which was awesome.
That's really special. Yeah.
Magic one. And these are the board book versions. There's also picture book versions, which are like the big ones. But if you have really little kids, then you want the thick pages they can't tear because otherwise.
Sure. We've been there, right? Does Draco have that math mind of yours?
My son, yes, but he does. Chemistry is his favorite, but he does like math. He pretends not to like math sometimes. Still. I'm like, but we were just doing logarithms the other day and a proof of one of the logarithm properties, and he was like, "Wait, that was cool." I'm like, "See?" He's like, "Yeah, that was cool." I'm like, "Yeah." It was. It was really cool.
So our podcast focuses, of course, a lot on motherhood. It's the Got It From My Mama podcast. And so I want to know a little bit about what you would credit your mom as far as how she helped you growing up to stay so grounded. I mean, you did move to Los Angeles. You were in the midst of auditions and acting, and then you landed this role, became a household name. How do you credit your mom in helping you survive the Hollywood teen years?
Yeah, well, my parents never emphasized the importance of Hollywood. It was not like, I remember the first year that The Wonder Years was nominated for Best Comedy Series, and the only year that we won, actually. That year, we had a trip scheduled with my dad to go on the Oregon River, and me and my sister, the three of us, and it conflicted with the Emmys. And we had a family meeting about it. I don't even know if I participated in the meeting, but the decision was made that we were going to go on the trip and not go to the Emmys. And we did. And I remember being in this tiny little a tiny little motel room with my dad, who, especially back then, was very frugal. This little television set, curved screen, maybe from the 1970s. I don't know. This was in 1988. This happened. We're watching the Emmys on this tiny little screen. The Wonder Years won. We all jumped up and down on the beds. It's a miracle we didn't break them. And then went to sleep, woke up at 5 a.m. and hit the river and had like the trip of our lives. I mean, I still remember picking blackberries on the side of the river, and just the idea that my parents would say, no, this is more important. This family trip is more important than the Emmys. And because my dad was really busy, we couldn't reschedule it. And I love that. Also, the fact that I even auditioned for The Wonder Years is a miracle of sorts, because my mom didn't allow us to audition for feature films, anything out of town, or series regulars, because acting was just supposed to be a hobby. Well, the part of Winnie Cooper was only a guest role on the first episode of The Wonder Years. But midway through shooting, the producers brought her aside and said, hey, we think that Danica and Fred have a really cool chemistry. We think we would like to offer her a series contract. And my mom was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, please. And I remember she got me this really fancy lawyer who gave us a loophole. She said, if you ever want to get out of the 7-year contract, she says, if you ever want to get out of this contract, just say the word. And of course, I never wanted to get out of the contract. But she also had been on set for a week at that point and saw the other moms, Joanne Savage, Jane Saviano, Marsha Hervey, and they were all very down to earth. They weren't like this typical stage mom that you think of. They all really cared about their kids being kids first. And when it was 9.5 hours, they pulled their kids off set. Even in the middle of a shot, they don't care. Nope, 9.5 hours. He's done now. Yeah, so that was for her. She said, okay, well, that makes me feel better. This is the right environment. And that's why I even ever auditioned for it.
Yeah, so that's a great behind the scenes story. The fact that you thought you would do this, just kind of maybe a couple of appearances, and then it turned into 6 full seasons as a main character on the show.
No, it was 1 episode. It was only supposed to be 1 episode, and then turned into
1 episode. Wow,
just 1 episode.
Yeah.
In fact, the end narration at the end of the pilot. So the pilot episode ends with the first kiss on the rock, if you remember.
And was that your first kiss as a 12-year-old?
It was my first kiss, yes. But the narration used to say, that was our first kiss and our last one together. Our last kiss together. And I remember watching the episode, and that last part of the narration, it wasn't there. And I was like, what? Are we going to kiss again? And of course we did. We did, of course. But yeah, that was going to be it. That was the only time my character was going to appear on the show.
Wow, that's neat. God had different plans for you. I mean, that's so interesting.
Let's be real. Summer skin needs a little extra love, and my simple barefaced routine does the job. Barefaced summer staples are a powerhouse trio that makes my routine so easy and effective. Liquid gold brightens and hydrates. Toning pads keep my skin smooth and clear. And of course, SPF 50 is non-negotiable. Without it, your other skincare just can't do its job. As a bonus, every order comes with a full-size clean slate spritz. It's a refreshing hypochlorous mist that I keep in my bag for on-the-go cleansing. If you want a simple, powerful routine that protects your skin all summer long, this is it. Place your order today to make sure you get your free clean slate spritz. Also, be sure to use the code MAMA15 for 15% off your first order at barefaced.com. You know that funky, yeasty smell that dogs can get in their ears? I thought it was just something that came along with being a dog owner until I found Coat Defense Daily Preventative Powder. I've been using this product for a long time now on our golden retriever Tucker to keep his coat fresh and clean, but recently I started brushing a little in and around his ears, and the difference has been amazing. The smell is gone, his ears are much less irritated, and the powder, it works like a dry shampoo, so it repels dirt, eliminates odor, and now I know it does a whole lot more. There is nothing like this product in stores, so try it out and see for yourself. Visit coatdefense.com and you can get 15% off with the code MAMA15. That's MOMMA 15.
So let's see, how old were you when it all ended? Is that about the time that it was time to go to college?
Yes, exactly the time. Yeah, a couple months before I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did you do any acting while you were in college, or it was really mathematics?
Well, the first year I did, because I remember I was planning on being a film major. But I remember leaving to do an episode of Babylon 5 and leaving to do a TV movie up in Vancouver. And I'd come back, and both times my teachers were giving me incompletes and they weren't letting me make up the final. And I was like not all the classes, but a few of them.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm sorry, you weren't here for the final. I'm like, yeah, but can I make it up? They're like, no. Like, really? I spent my entire childhood making up exams and making up homework when I come back, because I would go back and forth between real school and set, because I didn't work every single day. Some episodes I wasn't even in. Some episodes I'd work 5 days, some would be 2 days. So I never knew. It was a very interesting way to grow up. I never knew where I was going to be week to week.
Wow. And you tried to go do typical school, like you
I did.
Local. Okay. You did that all through?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
I remember I was in honors math, and I remember my geometry teacher telling me that I wouldn't survive geometry without being in the classroom every day. I took that as a challenge.
I was going to say, knowing what I already know.
He thought I should go back down to like normal average math and not be in honors.
Yeah, exactly.
I did stay in honors math, and I worked really hard. And he told me, he said, I stand corrected at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a girl for a challenge. He didn't know that about you.
That's right. He didn't know that I took double dog dares pretty seriously.
So tell me about life now. I mean, I know you've done over, I think, 50 guest starring roles. And I love when you look at the list of shows that you've taken part in, the range is so vast. I mean, you have not been, and I know that had to be a struggle, because if you're Winnie Cooper for 6 seasons of a show, it's hard to not be Winnie Cooper and for us to not see you as that. Right. So I'm sure that was somewhat of a challenge. But then when I look at this list of shows that you've done, I love the variety of the things that you've said yes to.
Yeah, it's been a great career so far. It's been awesome. I definitely was penalized for being known as Winnie Cooper, though. There were episodes that I would go to network tests for, and they would say, she did great. We just think it's going to make the series feel too 90s. It's like, yeah. So, or well, we just don't want to become like about Winnie Cooper's comeback. So sorry, she did a great job, but we're just not going to hire her. We heard that a few times.
So you had to battle that a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, at the time I was writing math books too. And I remember thinking, like, it is so good. When people ask me advice about wanting to be an actor, I always say, sure, go for it. But here's my advice. Have something else that you also can make money at that you love doing, because it will keep you sane. I remember Emily Proctor, she was on the West Wing also, and she and I would see each other at events, and she told me that she flipped houses. She'd buy a house, hire people to renovate it, and flip it and sell it. And she loved doing it. And she said, and you know what? It keeps me sane. There's so much rejection, and there could be long periods of dry spells for months and months where you're not working at all, and you're just auditioning and you keep hearing no. And you have to have something that you are a little more control over, something that you have a little more autonomy over it, that you can make money at, so that you don't drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic advice, actually.
So when I was getting all these rejections, that was when I was first writing my math books, and I was getting, back then the book industry was in a better position than it is now. And I remember in 2008, every stock market crashed. And when that did, it was right around the time the digital books were becoming more popular, and the whole book industry shrank. But this is before that. And I got some amazing book deals, like made a lot of money on those first books. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Look fine. They don't want it to be a Winnie Cooper revival. I'm making money over here in my math books. I'm fine.
You're getting really great timing, actually. Yeah.
Well,
as an author.
I didn't realize at the time that was God giving me that timing.
Yeah,
It's just,
exactly.
yeah,
I do want to hear a little bit more just in depth about your faith journey because it's a blessing just to get to talk about our faith on this podcast. And I think that your journey is very interesting to me because when I have read a little bit and heard you talk just a little bit about your testimony, it's actually surprising to me that you've really only had a personal relationship with the Lord for about 3 years.
I just had my 3-year anniversary
Yeah.
on, yeah,
Oh, that's
on
amazing. Will
Palm
you just
Sunday.
tell me a little bit about the story of being invited to church and how you were impacted by that and now how it's changed not only yours, but I know some of your family have been impacted by your journey as well.
For sure. Yeah. So 3 years ago, well, I mean, I could back up a little more. Uh, my dad found the Lord about 30 years ago. So I was already grown. And I remember being kind of like fascinated because he seemed just happier. He was always a kind of a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, but there wasn't this other, I don't know, there was this softening of him. And I remember thinking, wow, that's so good. I'm so glad he has that. He must have needed that. That's so good for him. Like I didn't get it, but I was happy for him. But that was the first seed, I guess, that was planted. And that for him had come out of financial hardship. That was again like another stock market crash. I forget what year it was. It was before 2008 though, for sure. And I want to be like, say it was like the late 80s or early 90s, early 90s.
It's so
Oh
early
no,
on.
mid 90s? No, late 90s. Anyway, whatever it was really hard. And he found the Lord at that time because he was losing everything.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know that's how it goes for a lot of people. But I was really happy for him that he found the Lord. And I was like, that's fantastic. So then fast forward many, many years until we're at 2021 now. And Candace Cameron Bure, my good friend, who's also on Great American Family Channel, like I am. And she is an outspoken Christian. And I knew that about her. I thought that's awesome. That's great for her. Like I didn't, yeah, like that's awesome. That makes her so happy. And she would read the Bible on her Instagram stories, and I just loved listening to them. But then there came this thing about forgiveness. I'm like, and I DM'd her, I'm like, okay, I don't get it. So if you're a Christian, you can do whatever you want. You can sin however you want. But if you repent and like all your sins are forgiven already, like what is this? Then you can just go back and do them again because they're all like pre-forgiven? Like what? How does this work? And she goes, can I send you a Bible? I'm like, sure. She sent me a Bible, and it was this one. And I was like, oh, it's so pretty. Thank you so much. I didn't read it. I didn't open it. But then she asked me if I want to go to church with her. And I was like, yeah. I mean, because I would go to church every Easter with my dad. It wasn't like I was opposed to church. And a couple years in elementary school, I actually went to Catholic school just because it was the best school in the area. And so I'd been exposed to all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure. And it was a passion play by the time I was finally able to go, when our schedules aligned, it was April of 22. And it was Palm Sunday. And at her church, they were doing the passion play. I mean, I remember watching it and just bawling. Like,
Wow.
couldn't figure out what was going on. Like, what is happening to me? And it was a revelation for me spiritually. My dad says the Holy Spirit came to you. It's the only explanation. I was just flooded. What was kind of amazing is it didn't require any kind of tragedy. It was just simply the power of the Holy Spirit came to me. But in addition to this revelation that I was having emotionally and spiritually, I had an intellectual revelation as well, watching this play. Like, wait a minute. Jesus was anti-religion. Like I thought being a Christian meant religion, that it was these rules and restrictions and judgments. And that's kind of my bias that I had against Christianity, really. I mean, I had lots of friends who were Christians, but as an institution, I thought, okay, this has been used to conduct wars. And I'm not talking about back in the Bible. I'm talking about like the Inquisition and torturing people over not having the right way that they believe in Christianity, right? Like the Catholics versus the Protestants, and like, oh, it's horrible. I'm like, this is a mess. And this is all, and you know what? Religion is a mess. But relationship with God doesn't have to be. And it's completely separate. And I got it. Like I got it. All of me got it. Intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, everything mentally just flooded me. And by the end, I knew and I got it. And I was like, oh, because I've always been somebody I consider to be sort of a goody two shoes. In college, I didn't really want to drink. I mean, I would every now and then. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I didn't go going to the parties. I just wanted to do the right thing. And I felt like I always felt like an outsider for wanting to do the right thing, as corny as that sounds, and wanting to live a clean, good life. I was in the minority in Los Angeles, and I always felt kind of judged by everyone. And I always felt like people felt sorry for me for not having a better time or something. Anyway, I couldn't figure out, like, finally I like, oh, I've been living for Jesus and not even knowing it. Like I had this feeling like, oh, I finally get it. Like all the things and impulses and desires and things that I've wanted to do and not feeling like I fit in, and it all just crystallized for me. This is it. This all makes sense. It all makes sense now. And I told Candace at the time, I said, this is like one of our romantic comedies. We both do these romantic comedies for Great American Family Channel.
Yes.
I'm like, it's like when you say to the guy, it's you. It's always been you. That's what I feel. I'm like, Jesus, it's you. Like this is the feeling. And I mean, I had gotten introduced to the idea of God and gotten comfortable with it back in college, actually, because of a group called Al-Anon, if you're familiar. So AA is a group for people who have drug and alcohol problems, or I guess just alcohol. Al-Anon is the program for people who are with somebody or have someone in their life.
Family. Uh-huh.
And I had a boyfriend in college who had an alcohol problem, and he was in AA, and he suggested I go to Al-Anon. I'm like, okay, sure. And I did, and the relationship didn't last that long. But I ended up going to Al-Anon for a long time after that because it gave me such great tools. And we would say the Serenity Prayer to start. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. We'd say that, and it just kind of got me used to it. So that was like another little seed, I guess.
Little baby steps that you were actually taking on the journey.
I was preparing for it and didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
I let go and let God. I've been saying that ever since college because without really having, like I would say, oh, higher power. We all have a higher power. I don't know. I struggled at various times in my life with what to call God. Anyway, it all got cleared up for me.
Yeah, it's because that turned into a relationship, right? It became personal for you.
Yes. And because it is about relationship. It's not about religion. It's not
Absolutely.
and then when you love Jesus, you want to do all those things that would otherwise look like rule following, I guess.
Yeah.
So
well, I grew up the same way as you, as someone who always wanted to make the right choice. I never overindulged in anything. If someone gave me a rule, I was going to follow it. But I look back on that now and as a person of faith, but I just see so many ways that the Lord was protecting me from choices and decisions and influences that I didn't even know at the time. But I look back on it and I was like, okay, Lord, this is the plan you had for me all along.
Yeah, for sure. It's so nice to look back and be like, now I see.
Yeah. Well, I love that's such a beautiful testimony.
Hey, thanks so much for your support of Got It From My Mama. I hope you are enjoying this episode. Did you know that there are more than 100 episodes of the podcast available for you to listen to? Be inspired by our awesome conversations with mothers of athletes and entertainers and entertaining moms. Be sure to subscribe on this platform, on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our insider newsletter by visiting gotitfrommymamapodcast.com. I'd love to hear from you. Now, back to the episode.
I do want to hear a little bit about, now it's like, I feel like, yes, there's the people who think of Winnie Cooper, but now we're just like, you're the Christmas queen. Seeing you in so many of, particularly Christmas movies. I know now you're doing more of the romantic comedies and just, I guess, the romantic cute shows, that we are able to enjoy. You did a lot with Hallmark, you made a switch, and now you're actually on the producing side. Is that right? You're doing some.
I do both. Yeah, I produce the movies that I'm in.
So when you're in them, you're actually a producer of the movie.
Yes.
Amazing. Are you doing some script writing too?
Yes. In fact, on A Cinderella Christmas Ball, which was my Christmas movie this past year on Great American Family Channel, I did help to write it, and I actually have a writing credit. As a producer, I contribute quite a bit to the scripts that I'm in, but this one, it was actually my idea to start, and I helped with writing all the way through, and so that was a legit writing credit.
That's awesome. Great. Is that a lot of what keeps you busy is the production side of the movies? How many will you shoot in a year, for example?
Just 2.
Really?
They take a long time to develop. They take a long time. And then there's a ton of promotion. There's the editing that goes on for many weeks afterwards. And then there's promotion, and all that stuff takes a lot of time.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. Social media production, promotion, but also traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Go to LA or New York and doing promotions. I've got a movie coming out, I think in August, but I don't think there's a set date yet, on Great American, called Grounded. It's just a romantic comedy, but it's also really about family and faith. So it's a very faith-forward movie as well.
Yeah. Was that part of your decision of going to work at GAC?
No. That was I didn't find my faith until after I joined. It was like God had this whole plan of me moving to Tennessee and then coming here. Of course, there's a huge community of Christians. So in LA, I mean, there's tons of everything in Los Angeles, but here it's been so easy and there's such a shorthand and people know Bible stories here. Yeah, I just ran into somebody yesterday who was I was up in Franklin and she was like, oh, I saw you on a podcast with my pastor. And it's like, it's just a small world of Christians.
Before I let you go, I want to hear about the star-studded birthday party you had. You celebrated 50 this year and you did it in style. I want to hear all about it.
Oh, it was super fun. Well, I love dance. And so I thought, why not have a dance themed party? Because I didn't want to do a 50th party. It seemed like, oh, but I thought, well, it is 50. Maybe I should do something. And then when I got the idea to do a dance theme, I thought, okay, well, now I'm excited. Now I want to do this. And so it was a salsa dance lesson.
You grew up dancing because that was your mother's passion. She had the studio. You continued dancing, right? And then
I took a break. I didn't really dance much at all until I was in my teens, I guess. And I started watching Dancing with the Stars after that. And I started taking lessons, and then 8 years later, I ended up on Dancing with the Stars, 2014.
Was that so fun for you?
It really was. Yeah. And I do dancing in my movies whenever I can. Did a movie called Swing Into Romance on Great American Family in 23, and that movie is on PureFlix now. Gleb Savchenko, who is one of the pros on Dancing with the Stars, is in it. He plays my ex-fiance, ex-dance partner. We have a Dancing with the Stars level routines that are super fun in that. And then I also did a couple waltzes in a Cinderella Christmas ball.
So then you decided to have a dance theme for the 50th birthday party. And then you had all kinds of wonderful friends also from a lot of the movies that we get to see and enjoy who came and took part, right?
Well, Candace came.
Yeah.
And then Jesse Hutch, Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years. He played the brother on the Wonder Years.
Yes. Yeah.
That was awesome. A lot of friends and family. My sister flew in for it. It was great.
Yeah, that's so much fun. Well, I love that you are nearby and enjoying life here. And then I guess the most exciting things, we've got the new movie. The next movie is going to be out in August, right?
Well, we don't have a date yet, but that's what I've been hearing. Those are the rumors.
Maybe we'll be looking for that for sure. And then are you doing another Christmas movie this year that will be new?
For sure.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So that'll be out during the holiday?
We're figuring that out now, actually. I'll probably shoot it over the summer.
Okay. Where do you typically shoot those?
It's all over the map. It's been in Canada a lot because they get this extra tax break. But then Grounded was shot in Kentucky last year. We shot it in the fall. So I think it's going to be the fall, probably either August or September. It's just gorgeous. We had the most beautiful trees and the fall was just exploding in Kentucky when we shot it. And so even though the movie was supposed to first come out in the spring, and then I think like, you know what? It's such a beautiful fall movie. Let's have it come out in the fall.
Okay.
That was Kentucky. So I guess what I'm saying is it's kind of all over the map now.
Literally
it used to always
everywhere.
be in Canada, but they're just switching it up.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's so interesting to learn a little bit about behind the scenes of all of that. So, well, it's wonderful to get to talk to you, and I appreciate your time today. And the new book that will be out also in the fall.
I Love You 100.
I Love You 100. Okay.
Yes, a counting book full of love. And the name comes from a book that, from a game that my son and I used to play when he was very little. And it's how I taught him how to count to 100. And this isn't how the book goes exactly, because it wouldn't make a very interesting book. But the game was, I love you 2, I love you 3, I love you 4, I love you 5. And we go back and forth and back and forth. And he always wanted the even number so he could end on 100. And every time we'd say a number, I would have my little fingers and I would like crawl up his arm. It was a cute little. But in the book, it's like, I love you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then that spread is looking at the number 10. And the next page, it's 11 through 20. I love you 11 through 20. And we're looking at the number 20. And then it shows all the different circumstances that you could be in, whether you're happy or upset or whatever. And that's the unconditional love part. But that is available for pre-order right now. And pre-orders really help authors. So if you're
absolutely. And artists on this, I'm the mother of a country singer. And so we're all about those pre-orders, pre-save, everything because it helps to give you a good idea of how, whatever project you've been working on is going to go. So for sure. Yeah. Well, thank you, Danica. It's really fun to talk with you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me.